Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Cheryl Carr, your work doctor, and this is the Achieve with Dr. C podcast. I hope everyone is having a very good Valentine's Day. I call it the fake love holiday because every day should be Valentine's Day. We should be practicing love, living life of love and satisfaction every single day. So, with that said, I do want to welcome you. Thank you for listening. If you're joining me live or if you're joining me on the rebroadcast, which is how most of you listen to me, I hope you will listen in because when I bring on my guest, Pastor Stephen J Thurston, we're going to chop it up. We're going to talk about, are you in a toxic relationship? Now, my job in this preliminary waiting for him, he's rushing from the city to his studio. So, I want to talk to you about two things. First of all, this show is my personal professional opinion. It is not meant to substitute for therapy, it is not meant to substitute for your own personal going to see your own doctor, going to see your own therapist, going to see your own physician, psychiatrist, whatever you're doing. Please don't use my advice as a substitute for therapy. That's not what it's about. This is me helping you self coach you so that you can decide, do I need a therapist? Do I need to go to therapy? Most of us do. So, anywho, let's just start right off and jump into the deep end of the water. Toxicity, being toxic, man, we have overused that word like narcissist. It's a little bit of the responsibility for all of this falls on us therapists because what we've done is in educating the public about the need for therapy, we come on and we use all the art lingo and we teach things, and then we have Google, and then people adopt it as if they know what it means. And they begin to throw it around like everybody's a narcissist, everybody's toxic, everything is toxic behavior. Can I just share something with you? All of us have toxic behaviors. There is nobody under the sound of my voice. There is nobody on this planet that does not have some sort of what we would consider toxicity or toxic acting. It's a term used to define your behavior. If it's unpleasant or if it's malicious towards others. A person who acts with toxicity or acts toxic may be suffering from low self-esteem, or they themselves may be distributing or suffering from mental health conditions. And they've experienced childhood trauma in some kind of way. So, that said, I hope you realize we're all toxic. Everybody's toxic in their own little way. Okay? So the next time you have the urge to call someone toxic, realize what you're really saying. Now, what are some signs of someone being toxic? Not just toxic behaving, because I want to put the distinguishing statement in there. We have toxic behaviors, and then we have toxic people. Those are the people who have decided to live their lives maliciously and repeatedly hurting other people. When you're with these people that are toxic, you're going to feel drained and diminished because it really doesn't matter how you feel, what you think, how you see things. All that matters to a toxic person, not a toxic behaving person, to a toxic person, clinically toxic, they don't care about you, boo. They don't care anything about you. Nothing. And you can't affect them. Your pain is actually fuel for them. You being upset, actually being demoralized, being upset, feeling unconfident, feeling unsteady, feeling unappreciated is fuel for them. When they see that behavior, they keep honing on it. That's the toxic person. Now, toxic behavior, there are times that you might act toxic and display a quality that could be considered gaslighting, being dismissive, being unaffected, being self oriented to the expense of anyone and everything, being demoralizing, always putting people down, draining people. You're not a fountain, you're a drain. Sometimes it just happens. We all have our owies. That's what I like to call them. My scars, my wounds, they're owies, and we all got them. So please get that. So the next time you're tempted to say someone's toxic, shift that and more accurately describe that as they're acting or they're behaving in a toxic way. A true toxic person, which we're going to talk about, and you may be in a toxic relationship. And let me throw that out there. Toxic relationships aren't just personal, they're not just interpersonal. Toxic relationships can be on your job, they can be in your family. Because what did I say earlier? We all behave in toxic ways. We all do. There's not a time in your life that you have acted perfectly. Yet there's not a time in your life where you've treated someone perfectly. We all behave toxic sometimes. It's just a word that we should refrain from when we're really seeing it, and we need to give some grace. So, another thing, you may be the toxic one in the relationship. Have you ever thought about that? And when Pastor Stephen gets on, we'll talk some more about that. But have you ever stopped to think you might be the toxic person in this equation? If your relationships follow a similar script as if you're with the same person in a different body, and it goes down the same pathway every time, the common denominator in that equation, if you're a mathematician, you like math, is you. So let's talk a little bit about that. And then I'll bring Pastor Stephen on. He should be just about to his studio. So, in finding out how you can overcome toxic behavior, because I think you should realize there's nobody going to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. For those of you that Bible thump, even God won't come save you. He's given you a brain. He's given you the ability to think, act, and to save yourself. And don't come sending me no scriptures in my inbox, because I will check you. This is scripturally accurate, and it's emotionally and mentally sane. Because some of y'all think once you become a Christian, when you say the magic savior prayer, that you're saved from everything. And if that was true, you'd just be translated straight to heaven. You would not have pain. You would not have suffering. You would not cause pain. You would not cause suffering if you're truly saved. No, you're working out your salvation on earth. And so that's it. You're going to act sometimes in ways that are toxic. And I've given you the signs. Remember, I said to know if someone's behavior or if someone is what we would clinically diagnose as someone who is toxic, unsafe. The behaviors are the same. It's just one is a way of life and one is just a moment in time, a specific situation. People that define everything as toxic, remember this: we see in others what is present in ourselves. I read today about a lady who pushed her son to paternity test her son's new baby with his new wife. And of course, the baby was his. And because the wife was so upset about it, she asked the son to get a paternity test. What do you think the results were? The results were the son, that wasn't his daddy she was married to. See? So there you go. There you go. So I'm saying all that to say you can be the toxic one. And you can see in others things that are mostly you. You're looking in a mirror. Relationships are mirrors. And if you have a repeated behavior or repeated situation that continues to happen, and it's you, always you, but the situation's the same, that common denominator is you. So, and I just got a message from Pastor Stephen. He's close, but we got a few more minutes. So we're going to keep on talking about what toxicity is. Because then when he gets on, we can have the conversation about, are you in a toxic relationship and what you can do to get out of it. Now, what if you're hearing what I'm saying and, like I said, you realize you're the toxic one, that you haven't upgraded or matured your relationship skills, your work style, your skills at work, to where you constantly end up in situations that are difficult, that can be classified as toxic. So here's what you can do. If you're listening to me and you're going, I keep having the same relationship with people in different bodies. The relationship is always the same. The course of conversation is always the same. The end results are always the same. So what can you do to stop toxic behaviors? 1, get mental help. Get someone involved that can speak to you and can speak into your life so that you hear another side to your life or your perspective. It's never good to be solo dolo and then expect to be in a society or be with other people. You have to learn how to behave, how to act, how to treat people. So getting mental health support to examine and look at your behaviors, look at your patterns, look at your patterns in life, look at the continual story of your life. Then you can look at those underlying causes. I love to tell people in therapy or in coaching with me, we spend our adult life trying to overcome our childhood. And no one has a perfect picture story childhood. Nobody. We're all on this spinning dirt ball, paying bills, and trying to overcome stuff. That's just life. Life is problem solving. Third thing, if you've hurt people in your life, the people you live with your toxic behaviors, apologize. And some apologies that you will never hear that I think are crucial, and I push them with people. It's enough to say you're sorry, that you're asking for forgiveness for hurting someone. But it's also important to apologize by determining the future course of the relationship, that you're going to make efforts to change, that you want to be held accountable, that you want to be discussing these issues, not, okay, I told you once and don't question me again. And that apology will come when you tell people you're sorry, you're working on it, and to give you grace, ask for forgiveness, and then move on. And moving on, remember, forgiveness is not forgetting this. Forgiveness is just deciding it's not worth staying there. And then the next thing you do is you use tools, learn tools to unlearn and stop practicing toxic behaviors. It's called change. And you have to acquire new skills. It's not going to just happen. You have to learn new skills. You have to unlearn what got you there. And it can be done. Now, at the age of 25, your medulla oblongata is fully formed. Your efforts to change have to be heroic, continuous. The accountability has to be continuous. It's not like one and done. Or I went to 12 sessions, I'm healed. No, it is a lifelong walking through that. And then to use those tools, you have to go to someone who can call it out. You have to trust people to call it out for you. And you have to be willing to be called out. Hey there. Hello.
What's up, Dr. Cheryl?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
How about now? Testing. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, but that doesn't mean other people can't hear you. Let me edit your mic settings. It says you're unmuted.
Can you hear me?
No. Don't you love technology? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can't hear you. And it says you're unmuted.
Testing. Can you hear me now?
So, yeah, go out, come back in. Okay. I don't know what that is, but that's the beauty of technology. It never works when you want it to. But to wrap up what I was saying, please know you can decide to change. You can decide not to be toxic. You can decide not to be in a toxic relationship. Is it going to be easy? No. No. Especially if you decided to stay in something hoping it would change, but then it never does. Those are the hardest things to get out of.
How about now?
Okay.
You got me?
Still can't hear you. I can't hear you. But it's okay. I'm editing your mic again and trying to figure out why I cannot hear you.
Testing.
Okay. It says, Pastor Stephen, if you can hear me, it says you're muted. You're muted somewhere.
Te-
Yeah, it's just telling me that you're muted. And I muted you, turned up your volume.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You got me now?
No. No. We'll keep playing with it because you're here. So we're going to make this work. Yes, I am having issues. So I'm trying to chat with them and ask them,
Testing.
can't hear my host, my guest rather. So we'll just start that. And I may have to go down and come back in too. But somebody's listening in, they're responding now.
Can they hear
So
me?
Evan has joined the chat. He may give us some instructions
Okay.
for why we're not hearing sound. But I'm glad you got in. I'm glad you got in. Yes. And you've checked your mics? And you can hear me just fine. Crystal clear. Yeah, because I worked on the sound prior to. This is really hysterically funny because it's the weirdest thing to have my sound. He's my customer service is typing.
Okay. Testing.
Okay, it's asking me to check and see if Chrome has permission.
Okay. All right. Somebody just text me.
Okay, so I'm playing with Chrome right now, Pastor Stephen. Just give me a minute.
I can't hear you.
That took everything down.
Okay. Can you hear me?
So no, I still can't hear you. But well, yeah, I changed all the settings. So what we're going to do, we're going to take it down, bring it back up.
Okay.
Okay. Open Chrome. Okay, everyone, get ready. I'm going to take everything down and then boot it right back up, okay? Because there is just something wrong with the sound and the